The trial got underway this week of the Winnipeg woman accused of concealing the bodies of 6 infants. Andrea Giesbrecht was charged in 2014 when human remains were found in her U-Haul storage locker. One of the issues that's come up is whether any of those infants were born alive. And the CBC's Caroline Bargut joins us from Winnipeg. This is such a disturbing but strange case as well. Started out as a murder investigation, Caroline, and ended up going to trial as 6 counts of concealing a body.
That's right, Ian. Winnipeg police believe that these babies were born alive and then stored in this storage locker here in Winnipeg. But they couldn't actually charge Andrea Giesbrecht with homicide charges because we heard in court this week that forensic pathologists can't determine what the cause of death would have been because the bodies were so decayed and so decomposed they weren't able to determine if there was ever any oxygen in their lungs. And if there wasn't any oxygen in their lungs, then they would have been stillborn. So that's pretty much the issue right there. But they do know that these infants were stored in Rubbermaid containers as well as pails in a U-Haul storage locker that Giesbrecht had been renting.
Now, you've seen her in court. You've seen her going to and from court. What can you tell us about Giesbrecht herself?
Well, she doesn't really speak to anyone. She seems quite quiet. She sits in the corner and she has a social worker there with her that she does speak with from time to time. Today, we actually heard some testimony from a woman who knew her 16 years ago. They were friends at work. They worked at a grain factory in the filing department. And the woman testified today that Andrea Giesbrecht was fun. She was friendly. She was friends with her. They would hang out. But then she also talked about Giesbrecht having a gambling addiction. And she even pawned her engagement ring shortly before she was married.
And Caroline, we may get some more insight into what happened here from Giesbrecht's husband.
That's right. Today, the Crown said that they'd been trying to get Jeremy Giesbrecht to come to court and testify, but he hasn't been cooperative. So today, he was actually subpoenaed to come to court. He did come to court. He didn't take the stand today, but he was interviewed by the Crown outside of court hours, and then we expect to hear from him sometime in August.
And you were saying the prosecutors were telling you that there are situations where a spouse can be forced to testify.
Right, because I thought in Canada you can't compel a spouse to testify against their spouse, but the Crown said you can in cases of child abuse or domestic violence.
Caroline Bargut in Winnipeg, thank you.